How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Bright and early Sunday morning. You know what it is already. Saturday, 3 points picked up, but unfortunately, City also picked up 3 points of their own, leaving it as is at the top of the table. We're 1 point ahead of them with one more game played. 3 to go for City, 2 to go for Arsenal, 1 point separating the two. And I'm back with James, Lee, Jordan, as always. Review the latest and talk about the one coming up. How are we? All good? Tired, I presume.
No, I'm fine. I'm great.
Yeah, you are fine.
But one of us is pissed, but I won't name any names. But I'm fine. I'm ready to go. Hours.
And he doesn't mean angry.
There's one guilty face. There's one guilty face amongst us right now.
No names.
James, I see you yesterday. Obviously, you was at the game as well. Lee's always at the game. Lee, should we start with you as usual, or do you want James to take the lead today?
I'll let James take the lead, like, you know what I mean? Let James. I'll tell you what, the game's great and all that, but I've got more other issues I have.
Okay. James, you was at the game as well.
I was.
First one for a little while. Enjoyed?
Yeah, and my record this season is not great. I've been 5 times. To be fair, we've won 3 of them, but there was a 2-1 against Wolves that should have been a 6-0. There was a 1-0 against Porto. We all know how nervy that was. I went to the Fulham draw, went to the West Ham defeat, so it hadn't been great. So I wasn't sure whether the right thing to do was to even go to this. I felt like I was a problem for the club. It was a 3-0, but 3-0s have never felt so nervy, have they? Like, it was a weird one, you know. Throughout the whole game, I felt like this is sometimes why I'm glad I'm not on a watch-along sometimes. Because throughout the whole thing, like I said on my fan cam, I thought Arsenal were always playing well. Like, and there was never a point in the game where I thought, come on, Arsenal, wake up. I never thought, I thought we're looking really good, but oh my word, put your chances away. You know, and I was sort of thinking, you've got to get Martinelli on, and then Trossard scores. And I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, he's not made a great start here, you know, making a great appearance. Gets a really good assist for the third. And then after all that stress, I'm sat there at full time going, fantastic, 3-0. Utterly deserved. So slightly shameless, but it was deserved. We were great. You know, Bournemouth are not a bad team. We talked about it in the week. Irola's got them playing good football. And I thought we were brilliant. I thought we were professional. We were focused. There were some moments. Thought Gabriel had a few little little moments, you know, where Saliba had to bail him out. One in particular, I remember. I think we got away with it with the disallowed goal. I think it was a red card for Christie. We'll talk about the officials. But generally, it was job well done. And I think we've done what we all wanted, which was take it to Old Trafford, make it mean something. And now the next challenge is take it to the final day at least. Take it to, well, that's it. Win at Old Trafford, and we're taking it to that Everton game. And we're going into that final game of the home season thinking we could win the title. So it was just job done, really. I think we're at that point of the season where is there much to say? We played really well, and we just hope now, because we've been playing really well all season. I'm very confident to say that we deserve, I think we played well enough to deserve the title. Now, whether we do, you don't deserve it if City rack up more points. I do believe that. But, you know, I don't think anyone looks at this Arsenal side and doesn't think we look like title winners. We just need a little bit of help. And if we don't, then so be it. But I can't question the effort that the team are putting in. I can't question the coaching. I can't question anything. They're leaving it all out there. So we just hope.
Yeah, they are. Jordan, something different about you today. Was it a fresh trim? Is it a shape up? What is it?
I got a little shave, bro. Got a little shave, you know what I mean? A little shave. You know, so I look a couple of years
younger.
Yeah, I do a little bit. Yeah, that's why I hate shaving.
You look well. You look well.
Cheers. My God. Just endorse everything that James has said, really. As far as the game goes, I wasn't as left as nervy, I think, as James was. I thought, I didn't have any doubts that we would get the win. Once the second goal went in as well, that was definitely game done for me. I'm sure we'll get to individual performances in a bit, but overall, as James said, we're doing our bit. We're just doing our bit. We can't do any more than win our games and take it all the way. You know, this time next month, we're either going to be Premier League champions or we will have just missed out. Do you know what I mean? We'll be doing podcasts in a few weeks' time, and we're going to be celebrating and having a good time, or we'll be thinking, you know what, we gave it our best, let's go again. But one thing I know for sure, watching this team, do you remember this time last year, all the rival fans were saying, "Oh, next year you won't be in the mix. Oh, next year, if you don't win it this year, you're not going to be in the mix." No one's saying that this year. Everybody knows now whether we come first or second, we are going to be in the mix next year. I don't care what United do in the summer. I don't care what Chelsea do in the summer. I don't even care what City do in the summer. We are going to be in the top 2 next season. That's we're on track to being a top 2 club now, and we've just got to fine tune all those kind of small percentages that take us from second to first. A little bit of luck as well. To win a league, you do need a little bit of luck. But I'm watching my team now, and I'm confident that whether we finish the season as winners or runners up, we're going in the right direction. And I'm enjoying watching my team play. I'm enjoying the fan base just being quite balanced on where we are right now. But I think people are kind of open to the fact that we may not win it, but that's not the end of the world. We've done our best. I think you said, Turkish, before, and Lee, in previous pods, all we wanted was just do your best. Just if you leave it all out there and you do your best and you come second, we hold our hands up. In previous years, we've not done our best. We've not given everything to try and win a league, hence why we've been so frustrated. And we're doing our best. It was a good 3-0 performance. I got my clean sheet. And I'm really happy. It might not be enough, but I don't really know what more on the game there is to say, apart from there's one incident we'll get to, I'm sure, which I think we might disagree on. But otherwise, it was relatively routine.
Lee, did it feel routine for you? James was nervy, Jordan confident.
Yeah, I'm going to say I thought we probably one of the best performances we've had all season up until the final third. I thought some of the play that we did to open them up was really enjoyable. You know, the Odegaard, Saka combinations, the little flicks we got in a few times, but the final pass or the final finish was poor. I love what Declan Rice said afterwards. You know, there was frustration in the way we went about in the last bit of the last phase of the game. He said that, you know, he felt that we wasn't as good as what we should have been. So they was aware of it. I thought it was a really, really good game. I'm going to big up the Arsenal fans because I thought the atmosphere for a 12:30 kickoff was really, really on point. It was really, really good. Good atmosphere all the way through the game. I thought Bournemouth looked dangerous because I think that they are a good team and in form. But the fact of the matter is they are in form, but so are Arsenal. I've come away from that ground yesterday. I don't care what happens now. I'm proud of what I've seen with this Arsenal team. You know, worthy champions if we are champions. And I just can't wait for the day that Manchester City get what they deserve and get kicked out of this league and everything that goes with it. Because afterwards, I'm left frustrated about what I've seen. Not for the first time with them. But I think Arsenal were superb. There's some absolute performances yesterday that were off the chart. Some of those performances from some of those players were fantastic. Couple of controversial decisions in the game could go our way, couldn't have gone our way. I agree with James. I think that was a goal. I watched it, but I see it at full speed when I was there. I didn't think it was a foul. After watching it on TV, it's never a foul. I don't know why the referees actually give it. The only reason I think that he can give it is because it's a foul on the goalkeeper. Rules are you're not allowed to touch goalkeepers, but that's a ridiculous rule. So we got away with one which would have made it nervous for us. It would have made it nervous for us, and perhaps we didn't deserve that. But credit to Bournemouth, I thought that they played and kept going all the way through the game. Bit of pressure off them, of course, but I looked at Bournemouth yesterday and I thought to myself, wow, what a fantastic side they are. 11,000 home crowd. To go and perform like that and do all the season that they've got nothing but admiration for a team like that. Some very, very good players in there. And I'll tell you what, I don't care what anybody says. I actually was, and James will know this, I was chomping for Shinchenko to be playing left back. glad he didn't, because Tommy Asu had to play and be at his very, very best to contain their right-sided midfield player. I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
What a battle that was. It was a real enjoyable battle, along with all the other things that I see in the game. I see a top defender and a wide player going at it in a fantastic way. And I don't really know who come out on top. I would say that Tommy Asu had a fantastic game, but I don't know who come out on top in it. If you said to me who won that battle, I just thought it was a fascinating battle in all the little subplots that were going on. But listen, for me yesterday, I walked out of that ground proud of my football club, proud of my team, proud of the fans, because a lot of teams criticise the half 12 kickoff, and I get that, and I've not been quite up for it. But I thought it was a great atmosphere in here, so it was a privilege to be in the ground yesterday, and I was really happy.
Okay, can I just say before we get back to the actual football bit, Lee mentions the atmosphere from the fans. I think it's important that we just note the fact that Arsenal marked the murder of Daniel Anjorin, the 14-year-old boy who was killed in Hainault, which obviously we know that Arsenal's a classy club, so that's big up to Arsenal for doing that, and the fans that observed that as well. Because for those that aren't in the UK unaware, a young boy was murdered on Monday. Was it last? It might have been last week actually. Sorry, my days have gone merged into one. He was murdered in a part of London innocently. And look, I'm not a parent, so I don't know what it's like to lose a child, especially that young. But I don't think you have to be a parent to know what it's like to lose someone you love. So I just think it's important that we acknowledge his passing. He was an Arsenal fan, but also big up to Arsenal as a football club for, I think before the match, guys, they did a minute's applause, and then on the 14th minute they did a minute's applause as well. So I just wanted to big up the fans and the club for marking that, because 14-year-old boy, it's fucked. Sorry, I never use the F word on this pod, but it's just so messed up to have someone so young be murdered in that way as well. So big up the club.
Yeah,
definitely. Was it a tale of two halves? I mean, I guess the first half was one that we should have been up 3-4. In the second half, I guess we deserved the 2 goals we had, but Bournemouth very much. You know what? I'm going to look at that penalty incident straight away, because I think that is pivotal. And I'm going to look at it in a positive light, because I don't really care that he looked for it.
It's not a pen.
Before anyone wants to ask me, is it a pen or not? I don't care. Was it a red card? Yes, it fucking was. But I'm not going to dwell on that too much either. For me, it swings and roundabouts, this whole referee and VAR stuff. And in the game, I feel like overall we probably got the better of it. But that red card decision bewildered me till now. I just don't understand how a stud can be so high up a leg, cause damage, and the leg's not planted, and then not even be a question to the referee to go over to look at it. But listen, we'll start with the penalty. If anyone wants to mention that, they can mention that. For me, it's just madness. But the penalty, Havertz played for it, and he won it. If he didn't win it, I'd be thinking, Havertz, what the fuck are you doing? Try and bury it. But he won it. And when I look at the game and the way the second half started, if that second half started in that vein and it was 0-0, I don't know if we win that game. We needed that goal before half time, because if we didn't get that goal before half time, it was essentially a first half similar to Aston Villa, where we should have been 3 up, but we're going in half time 0-0. Maybe you could even say then you could even look at the Bayern first half, where it was unfortunate for us, but the second half we didn't really show much. So I had that in the back of my mind. I thought we've had a hell of a lot of chances, clear-cut chances, openings. We've, Partey, point-blank range. Rice, point-blank range. High, wide. Saka, Saliba, even one good moment in front of... It's chance after chance after chance, and then the penalty comes. And because he won it, big him up. Because it was vital for me. I think that, like I said, if we didn't get that goal before half time, and look at the way Bournemouth started the second half, because they was a lot better in the second half, it could have been big problems for us. The second goal pretty much killed the game. If we didn't have the first going into that second half, I think, different story. But we did, and gotta say big up Kai for it, really.
He was outstanding.
Yeah, and overall in the game, he was at. Yeah, he did have another. This is probably his best free. Like, I know he's been better 2024 than he was in the latter half of 2023, but I think this is his best 3 games in a row for Arsenal, back to back. solid performances, and it's not all GA. It's not all goals. It's about performance. It's about his touch. He's bringing the ball down. He's passes rasp into him. He's controlling it. He's got a bit of confidence there. He's bringing in other players. He's still got that nasty side to him. If you're gonna dive, win a penalty. If you're gonna initiate contact, win a penalty. That's all I asked for. He done everything right again.
Some may say Kaka-esque, but I mean, not me, but some may say that. But
no one's saying this.
And the comment section, let us know. Does anyone say that?
Someone's saying that. They're out there. It's not a penalty. It's just not a penalty. And I agree with everything you said in terms of, look, swing. I agree. These things level out over the season. Sometimes within a game, it's not a penalty.
Why is it not a penalty?
Because I think by the time the contact is made, he's going away from goal and he's rounded the keeper. It's not a foul. The contact is not impeding him from scoring the goal. It's after he's rounded the keeper. If the contact stops him from getting a strike or getting around the keeper, it's a foul. He's gone pretty much around the keeper and then his leg has been caught once he's... For me, someone made a really good point watching the game with me. They said, Kai is the sort of player that would rather be fouled than round the keeper and score. And I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that. Now, look, if we want players to play the dark arts, we want players to do the naughty thing and whatever, then that's fine. And we've got the penalty, fine. But we've got to be consistent. Because it's, for me, very oxymoronic for us to say on one side, we don't care, we got the penalty. But then in 2 weeks later, or at Old Trafford, even on the weekend, when it goes against us and the referee makes a howler, the referee gets a 4 out of 10. We've got to be consistent. Either we don't care, we'll take the good with the bad, or we're going to hold refs accountable for errors. That was an error, in my opinion. So I'm just saying, let's just be consistent with where we are on this whole thing. If he's got to be a bit dark and dirty to get a penalty and get, I agree with Turkish, an important first goal, then so be it. But if that goes against us in the 89th minute Old Trafford, I don't want to hear anybody complaining about the referee being shocking.
Yeah, no, look, I spoke in a lot of detail about the PGMOL and my fan cam with Cess, because I said, my title was Let's Talk Now, because no one wanted to listen when we were complaining about the things that were going against us. Now, to be fair, as the season's gone on, I've never really felt like we've had more bad decisions than others. I actually think this season's been one of our better ones in terms of decisions that have gone for and against us. And other clubs certainly could complain more. But people in the media really wasted more time talking about club statements and talking about Ben White, pulling some gloves than they did actually the big things that matter in football. And that is the standard of officiating the game, which is appalling. We literally just saw a masterclass in officiating in the Champions League between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Leandro Trossard's brother, whatever his name is, good ref. Although I didn't think he was that great in our Porto game, but good referee who refereed that game masterfully. You've got 3 what I think are stonewall red cards in the Wolves game against us, the Chelsea game against us, and in this game. Not a single one of them's given. We're talking about the safety of the players here. Bukayo Saka and Arsenal have had to make the point to the PGMOL. You can do anything to protect our players, because these are the players we claim to love watching, but they get kicked out of the game and nothing's done about it. Rotational fouling's fine. I was the one who called for rotational fouls to be punished by booking the player who commits that 3rd and 4th foul on a particular player. And we go, you can't do that if it's their first foul. Why not? It's a team sport. They know what they're doing. We're talking about protecting players in the game. And Bukayo Saka gets another, studs to the shin. Now, I will say there was a discourse online about shin pads. I can't remember what piece of content I was on, but it was on AFTV and it was in the last week or two, I think. But I mentioned that shin pads are getting very small. Those kind of AirPod-sized shin pads. Now, I don't know what Saka was wearing, so please, people, don't get onto me. But I do think that is something footballers need to start getting proper shin pads on. We've seen what some people are wearing, But anyway, that's a side point. It's a red card challenge. And I think it is important we talk about it on a day where the decisions largely went our way, and we talk about it on a day where we won 3-0, because this is when people want to listen, when actually Arsenal benefited from it. Suddenly everyone wants to talk about the PGMOL and referees. Yeah, standards in the mud. We told you all season. I don't know what more. I don't know what more could we say. This time it went for us, but they're really bad. The fact they can look at some of these things and go, And it's not just the decisions they're making in game. It's actually the principles they have. Even the whole, well, it has to be a clear and obvious error. How do you measure that? How do you measure if so? Like just the whole way they operate and use VAR is a shambles. I'm glad semi-automated offside's coming in, because I think that will just save us one headache in terms of how long that takes. But everything else, yeah, the standard's poor, and all they want to tell us is, well, we got a few refs going to the Euros. Yeah, great. Doesn't change my mind. They're crap. Sorry.
I've got to say, the standard of refereeing now is abysmal. It is abysmal. And I'll tell you what, let's just take that red card yesterday, and let's go on to VAR about that. I'm going to stick up for Spurs here. You remember Spurs versus Chelsea? Romero got sent off when he actually wins the ball.
Yeah,
wins the ball, and he wins the ball. And it veers off into his round about the same area as Saka. Dangerous play, they said. The referee didn't give it on the feet. VAR got involved, give a penalty, and sent him off. He won the ball, but endangering a player. Go to this one here. There isn't even ball contact. It's just dangerous play, and VAR choose not to get involved.
Fabio Vieira.
Huh?
What about his red against Fabio Vieira against Burnley?
Yes, same thing. Off, and they get involved. Why they not got involved? Someone, I want Howard Webb to come out and say, why has no one got involved in it? Is that not endangering a player, what they done yesterday? I think it is. I've got to be really honest. During the game, I didn't know it was a bad foul, but then people are on the WhatsApp saying it's a definite sending off. I go to last week's North London derby. Rice, stone wall penalty against us. I looked at the game. Oh, Oliver couldn't have seen it. He's 3 yards away. And he does not give a stone wall penalty. So when you get decisions like yesterday, and I see where Jordan's coming from, where he doesn't think it's a penalty. Penalties are being given for that for all the years I've been watching football. That is one thing that happens. Like, knock it round the goalkeeper.
Yeah, at least it's consistent.
Say again?
At least it's consistent. I agree with you.
That's a consistent penalty all over the years. That's my point.
Harry Kane's won many of those. Yeah.
Hundreds of them. Us as well. Like, it has been part of football since I've played. Knock the ball past the goalkeeper, wait for the goalkeeper who's coming rushing out. It's a penalty. The fact of the matter is, the goalkeeper shouldn't be rushing out. I actually see a penalty when Robbie Fowler and David Seaman done exactly the same thing, and David Seaman didn't touch him, and the ref gave the penalty, and they both turned around and said, no, he didn't touch it. Doesn't matter. It's been going on, that sort of penalty, for years, and will continue to go on for years, because that is part of the game. And I get what you're saying. Is it a penalty? Listen, if that's not given, there's no way VAR or anybody else overturns it. And if it that is just part and parcel of football, and I get that. But
Lee, sorry, just on your point there, because I have to admit, when people say that, it does really annoy me, because we have to distinguish between what is a penalty and what has been given previously as a penalty. Because the first question should be, is that a penalty? My view is no. But then, and this is where tribalism and bias comes into it, what Arsenal fans will then say is, oh yeah, but that was given last week and the week before. Maybe it was, but then maybe those referees were also wrong.
Why is it not a penalty in your? Why is it not a penalty?
As I said, Lee, because I don't think the contact is what stops him from scoring a goal. He's pretty much round the keeper.
That doesn't mean to say it's a penalty, does it?
No. Just because there's contact,
you can be on the edge of the box going away from goal, and you get brought down. That's not that. That's, I know what you're saying, but you've got to say, why is that not a penalty? Because there's contact. I know what you're saying. I get it, but
contact doesn't equal a foul. Just because there's contact doesn't mean it's a foul. Has he impeded Kai Havertz from scoring a goal? That contact has not stopped Kai Havertz from scoring a goal. He could have still scored, but he's left his foot to, and it's clever play. Vardy does it, Kane does it, we know. But just because other people have done it doesn't make it right.
I hear what you're saying, but it's completely different to any other part. Like if you was a defender there, you're not going to defend like that. You're not going to defend. It's because it's the goalkeeper. It's a different situation. It's been going on. Oh, I was taught that. When I was at professional clubs. You know what I mean? Like to go past the player, wait for the contact. You know you're not going to score from that part of the game because of the angle, right? I'm telling you, if you're in front of goal and you go past someone there, he will score the goal. But he knows by going past the goalkeeper there, you're not going to score. So what you do is you go, right, you push it past the goalkeeper. You know he's coming in, right? You know he's coming in. Slow it, don't slow it down. See how it is. Bang, it's a penalty. It's just something that's been going on in football and it will go on whether you've got VAR or not.
I agree. But if we're going to try and raise the standard, we're talking about raising the standards of refereeing here. I'm just saying, as fans, we've got to be consistent then. I agree with you. That's been given as a penalty from the day of dawn, but that doesn't make it right. It's not a foul. It's a foul that's been given, but I would say it's been given because the referees have been wrong. Just because Kane got it 2 years ago doesn't mean it was a real pen. It was given, but it wasn't a pen. And I'm saying if we're going to raise the quality of refereeing, we can't then say, "Oh, let's just." Basically, it's cheating, which is cool. But then we can't bash referees. Then
we got it in a World Cup quarter-final. Was it quarter-final last 16? Michael Owen when he went through in '98. You know what I mean? It's been going on.
I agree.
Honestly, you can go back into time. It has always been a penalty. That's how it is. You know what I mean? Like
But as I said, Lee, I guarantee you, if that goes against us at Old Trafford, we'll be putting arguments forward saying it's not. How did he get that? How did he get that? Referee is a shocker. Referee hasn't. We'll be blaming the referee next week if it goes again. So I'm saying, as a fan base or as football fans, not even football fans, we've got to be consistent.
We've had it with Harry Kane. We've had it with Song.
I think it's about.
It's frustrating, but it is a penalty.
I think it's just about what referees and players and whoever's involved decides they're sort of willing to let go in the game and finding consistency. So the reason I'd have a major problem with the Havertz one being given is because, like Lee said, we've seen it so many times. Now, I will say, when a player looks like they are potentially looking for it, like Bukayo Saka against Bayern at home, you do leave that room for the referee to go, no, I think you've looked for that. So largely, at least the Havertz one is fairly consistent. What's that, sorry?
I think Saka's was more of a pen.
You could argue that. Maybe it felt like there was more of an impact, wasn't there, on contact? But at least
he slides in that Neuer, it's 100%. But because he doesn't slide in, he goes with his leg. There's a difference. There's a difference. I tell you, you know what I mean,
It is consistency. I think we can all stomach the dark arts and the idea of players being clever and all that if we just feel like at least anyone can do and at least anyone can get away with it. And in this situation, we did. But I agree with Jordan. Like, there'll come a time where that decision goes against us. We'll be annoyed that we've kind of been done there by the player. So I do think officiating, they need to get to the bottom of, does contact always equal a penalty and how sure they have to be, because the threshold maybe should be a little bit higher for a foul in the box. Maybe it should be, penalty is 9 times out of 10 a goal. Like maybe that needs to be thought about. I don't know. But yeah, the red card, I think it's crazy. I really think we got away with one with David Raya, because I was opposite to Lee. When I saw it in the ground, I thought, they'll give a foul here because the rest blown the whistle. And it did look like Raya came sort of swinging out. So I thought he must have been pushed, and when you watched it, I think because this divided Arsenal fans. A lot of Arsenal fans said, James, it's a definite foul because Solanke's not looking at the ball and he goes into him. That's actually all true. He's not looking at the ball. He's looking dead at David Raya and he does move towards him. But I actually still don't think he does enough in the way of contact or anything. So I think Raya's actually...
The people that are saying that are part of ruining the game. Because if the ball's in the air and it's an attacker against a defender, the attacker's allowed... or the defenders allowed to get their body in front and back them up with quite a bit of contact and bring it down. So what now it's Raya and we're lucky we got away with that one. That's what I'm
Do those Arsenal fans think that it was a foul by Jesus for the Havertz goal? For the Trossard goal at Wolves. That's what Jesus did, didn't he? Yeah, he's shouldered into them. He's given them a nudge out the way to take a first touch.
And I will say they should have had a penalty as well. If you don't give it as a foul, you give the foul. I don't know if it because that comes afterwards.
Oh, Saliba.
So like, because I think the foul comes first, they don't give the penalty. But Saliba's holding on to him and all that. Like I'm with James on that. Like I think like anywhere else, any other person on the field, that's not foul. It's just overprotecting the goalkeeper, in my opinion.
The other thing as well that's concerning, and this is about David Raya as well, is that it's another incident where he didn't need to mess up, if you like, and he kind of has. There's a lot of games I've noticed where he's been comfortable for 45 minutes and just done one thing that makes me think, And it's the reason why, and I've said before, it's really harsh, but I'm just not going into next season. I'm just not convinced. He reminds me of Szczesny in that he gets bored really easily and just does something stupid. He's a good keeper. He's actually a good keeper, but the Premier League winning goalkeepers, the top goalkeepers, the ones that for 45 minutes, for 60 minutes can do nothing, can like be not involved for an hour, and then the one time they are required, it's just handled. He seems to have those 1 minute in an hour where he just does something. And you're like, bro, why did you flap that cross?
Go back to Szczesny for comparison? I think he's got a bit of Ramsdale in him. That's the funny thing about it. You know, I'm not saying it's not been an improvement because I think there has been an improvement, whether it's fine margins or a bit wider, cool. But those moments, that the way he gave the ball away last week, if he got away with this one, but the way he floundered at it or whatever,
it's true.
These were Ramsdale. Like this is the.
I think the difference. I think the difference is with Ramsdale last year, he was more busy, so his mistakes would be in a busy period. Whereas with Raya, maybe because he's got a better defense in front of him, he's got like nothing to do for 45 minutes pretty much. But there'll be one thing that would just think to myself, the one time you had to do something, you didn't give me the confidence that you could just call Edison in his prime, but nothing to do for 40. The one time he's called upon, catch it, give it out. Good distribution, whatever it may be. And it concerns me a little bit going into next season.
Edison's had a couple moments even recently.
This season, yeah, but in his prime, I'm talking about when they had the ball and you couldn't get in their half. The one time the team did get in their half, he would just handle the one thing he needed to do. So I'm looking at Raya really, really hard. Not because I don't rate him, but it's just that was another example I thought yesterday where just catch the ball and just be a bit stronger.
Conversation.
Say that again.
I abstain from this conversation.
Actually, he played well as well. Other than that moment, look, he was nudged by Solanke.
Come on, be stronger. Just catch the ball, man.
No, like two things can be true. He was, but he also should have been stronger. But also, it wasn't a foul. But maybe four things could be true. I just want to touch on some positives on the players that were brilliant. But I want to, because we talked a lot about the penalty incident. I just want to talk about Havertz's movement to win that penalty. Because we've joked about movement on this podcast, and we've been giving him a lot of credit recently. What's that?
Space invader.
All that. But for everyone who was a Havertz fan from early days and is,
what are you cheering about, Lee?
Yeah, what are you cheering about?
I just, it's just like this guy's just proving people wrong every week. It's just fantastic, So,
Lee, this whole this proving people wrong. How do I want to say this?
Which is fine, by the way. I just want to say like that. Football is about opinions and changing opinions, and that is what's fine about it.
He's playing much better than he was at the beginning of the fucking season. That's
what it's about. You can change your opinion. You can change your opinion about a manager. You can change your opinion about a player. It's what football is about.
That's not even really my angle, guys.
James, here's the question. I got a question for James. Sorry, I know you want to make a point, but just before you make your point, do you think that Kai Havertz is a momentum player, or do you think that next season he can continue? Now he's in the groove. This is the Kai Havertz we're going to have at the start of next season, or do you think he's a guy that needs 10, 15 games and then to the best of him?
No, okay, it's a great question, but let me answer it by saying this. I don't think it's about whether he's a momentum player or a confidence player. I think it's really this simple. He's a striker. That's it. Like, that is really what I put it down to, because he was brilliant in the Community Shield. His first competitive game in an Arsenal shirt against City. The first game where we're like, all right, let's actually kind of see how he stands up to this standard and in our best 11. And he was excellent in that game. You know, his hold-up play was brilliant. And he's been playing his best football, whether it be Brighton away, Tottenham away, now this game, as a striker for me. And, you know, a lot of people look, I uploaded a video on my channel, you know, with an arrow pointing at me saying idiot. So, you know, I've been more than happy to sort of, you know, absolutely eat humble pie on the Havertz thing for sure. And by the way, I never really wrote him off. We were on this podcast, I think, all saying that so many great managers wanted him, that there must have been something that we were missing. But he didn't work as a midfielder. Like, I do think we have to remember that. He didn't work as a central midfielder. And he was doing a lot of the things he's doing now as a striker, which is playing on the last line, getting into areas. And the thing was, that was frustrating where we couldn't even get the players in the positions to play that pass to him because he was the midfielder in the team. Now we're seeing him up front, right? And I've watched him and wondered the whole time, what's he doing that Jesus isn't? What's he doing that Jesus isn't? And the thing I give him so much credit for is, funny enough, the movement everyone talked about. But doing it from that striking position, he's getting on the end of everything that Ødegaard plays in behind. He's the one that... the way I described it on Fancam is he wants the pass that puts him in on goal. Whereas Jesus, I think, wants the pass that allows him to combine or dribble or turn. Right. But Havertz wants the pass that puts him in on goal. And actually, he won that penalty, but he got on the end of a similar pass with a similar run when Tomiyasu played it in behind. And it's funny, the Van Persie comparisons. This is the one time I thought he looked slightly RVP, was when he was running with back to goal, but he was able to swivel and get a shot off first time on his left foot. And you've not seen the RVP comparisons?
I'm joking. I'm only joking.
They're looking pretty spot on. No, I'm kidding. No, but but that was the one time I was like, oh, that actually was kind of a little bit, he that movement to run almost slightly away from goal, back to goal, and then turn and hit it. He was doing that a lot in the game. He was the one from throw-ins who was stretching beyond to get the long throw and get us up the pitch. And I thought, this is striker's movement. He played like a proper centre forward, out and out 9. And I thought his best moments, a shame it didn't result in a goal, was when he ran in beyond, and then he first time squared it to Saka, but they got a really good block in.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. It's exactly what my striker to do. Like, stretch the pitch and then bring your wingers into play. I thought he was sensational. And this guy's a striker. I really don't want to see him playing in midfield because he's got the technical quality and that subtleness to just like, get those little passes into midfield, keep things moving, but then make the movements in behind. And I think he does that better than Jesus. I have to say, I think he makes runs into the box and he leads the line as just a pure, like, spearhead of the team better than Jesus. Even though Jesus, I still think, has so many other qualities as well. And he was tremendous again. One of the man of the matches for me.
I've got to say, Kai Havertz one when he plays in Saka and he has a shot in the second half. You know what I mean? If you have a look at that, it's proper centre forward play. Proper. Like, And I agree with you. The reason I like Kai Havertz from the word go was that game against Man City, but when he played in the Community Shield, because I see him play against the best team and cause them problems, and Arsenal were good for it. And what I like about him, I don't care what anybody says, he gives centre halves. I think Jesus gives centre halves a different worry, but I think that after the game, them two central defenders walk off and go, "Oh, we've had a tough game here today, physically, mentally, and everything." And that's what he does. And I think, I think he's going to get better and better in that role because confidence is there and everything like that. And Arsenal do look better with him in the team. And you're right when you say that, James. Couldn't agree with you more. I think at times when we played Jesus, we was 10 yards further back because of the way he plays. You know what I mean? Now we're right on the edge of the box and doing all this sort of stuff because he pushes us there and we go there and then he comes back. It's just very, very good.
Lee, did you notice when Jesus chested it into Ødegaard late in the game and Ødegaard got the ball and you can see Ødegaard's holding on to it because he's waiting for them to run in the space, but Jesus never makes the run. He's wanting it back to feet. And
he wants to play. He wants to play.
That's the difference.
Yeah. It's really interesting what's going to happen with Jesus because I think when he come on yesterday, it reminds you what a good player he is. It does remind you what a good player he is with the goal. You know, that was sensational hold-up play. And by the way, what a run from Rice. But he does give you something different. But Havertz gives us a platform which I think makes all of our attacking players play. But, listen, I go back to the foot. Football is about opinions, and like if he's proving people wrong, or it's fantastic. That's what it's about. And I don't. Me and Turkish have a laugh about it and all that, but like that is what it is. There's not every player I've really liked. You know, you can go back to the Bergkamps, Henry's, if you want, Perez's. There was people that didn't rate Perez. I know that. Like, you know, there's people that thought Thierry Henry was lazy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they're not wrong or they're not right. It's opinions, and that's what football is about. I love it. No one's right, no one's wrong.
Yeah, but we go back to the modern day fans and the whole, you know, this is your opinion. You can't change from it, otherwise you're a flip flop and all of this stuff. But listen,
I love flip flops. By the way, I love being called a flip flop.
I know you do, and I've been holiday with you, mate.
That is I am a flip flop. Put it in me.
You are a flip flop
because I go game for game, changing my opinion. That is what football should be about. When people go, "You're a flip flop," I go, "Thank you very much." Because that is what you are. We are all flip flops, different colours, different whatever. Like, you know,
I know what you mean.
Speak for yourself, mate.
I know what you mean, though. There is this underlying, like, sort of fan thing, which is like almost this kind of you can't be a flip flop. Like you must have a very researched and very well-formed opinion that you're happy to stick by for a minimum of 6 months until you've had enough evidence in order to change your opinion. It's like, okay, but some people aren't fans like that. Like, granted, we all do a podcast, and to a degree, right, we shouldn't just say whatever we're feeling in the moment if we're just going to change it a day later. But Lee's got a point. There is a degree of, I've just seen 3 games where the guys look really good, and I might be wrong about this. And actually, I kind of love him right now because he's made me really happy the last 3 games. It's like, it's just, that is also how some people just don't care. They got work, they got lives, they got things to do.
True.
And they're like, today I'm very happy with this player. Last week I wanted to kill him. Like, that's
true. Yes and no, but flip flopping and changing your mind for me are 2 different things. You can change your mind on a player, on a team, on a manager, on a system, but you have to have a body of time go by to be able to, you know what, I've seen enough of Arteta, I've seen enough of Havertz, I've seen enough of said person, and actually, you know what? No, they've changed my mind. I'm talking about people that fan cam to fan cam. 1 minute someone should be sacked. They win 2 games, and you know what? They should manager of the year. Those are flip floppers. You can't have. You can't have checked. You can't have taken enough information in a week to have done a complete 180. They're people that I have no time for. They're people that are just based on emotion and what you're saying. That week to week, they're not doing podcasts. They're just emotional. So that's fine. That's part of being a football fan. They're the people that I don't listen to because they're reacting off of emotion, making big statements, and then 2 weeks later making the complete opposite statement. Changing your mind. I've changed my mind on people, on teams. You can change your mind. Of course, you can change your mind. But flip floppers are people.
Flip flop with Granite.
Well, you know, well, to be fair, by the end, I think I did change my mind on Granite. But we're talking that. But you're making my point for me. Granite was at the club for 7 years. So in the last 18 months. That he really, you know what I mean, delivered. So let's not pretend like Granit Xhaka was this brilliant player that we never really saw because it took him a long time to deliver.
Yeah. Listen, contrary to what James said, I did write Havertz off. That's why recently I've been saying I was wrong in writing him off. You know, does my doubt still remain with the overarching context? Yes. But I'm going to put that to the side, talking about him now and recently, because his performances have been good enough. And the more we see of this, the more I shouldn't have written him off. But I still expect more. Like there's a thin line, especially with the way football fandom is now. I could leave it at, he's playing really good lately. Like if he maintains his form for the rest of his Arsenal career, I'm happy. People will be in the comments saying, but you just writ him off. What about this? What about that? Context still remains. But you can be happy at the moment, and you could also be worried about the future. You could be worried at the moment and be happy about the future. It's, you know, it's different angles, perspectives, views, and all that.
But also, Turkish people pick and choose what they want to use for context. I've never really disagreed with the idea that we should look at the money we paid for Havertz and maybe the wages he's on when analysing how important he is and how good he's been. I've never really used that argument, but I don't disagree with it either. Now, I was doing this video on Jesus the other day because these reports coming out, which I know we might be running out of time, but I would actually like people's opinions on that. But people were saying to me, for 45 million. He's on 200 something grand a week. Can't stay fit. Got to let him go. I'm like, oh, so now we're bringing up what we're paying people. Like now it matters. And I just like there's a consistent for me. I think all this stuff does matter. I think all of it is context you should think about. But I just find it interesting how people pick and choose when it kind of matters how much I think ultimately the investment you're putting into a player and what you're getting out of them should matter. But and none of this, before people get upset, none of this is a slight on Havertz. He was brilliant. But we're talking about the general conversation within fans that just bemuses me sometimes.
The other thing is, guys, this is what we do. We put ourselves out to be shot at. You know what I mean? That's something we have to put up there. You know what I mean? Because we're going to be asked about our opinions when Havertz is not playing well. And that's what Turkish did like, you know what I mean? He put out his opinion about it. And at the end of the day, it's like, if you're down the pub and you make that opinion, no one, only your little group is going to go back to you and all that. But that's part of what we do. We have to go out there and put your head, you're going to get shot sometimes when you put your head above the line. That is what we do. And we have to accept that. That's part. And so that's why if you say something, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? I think we have to accept that, like, And listen, Turkish is always going to get hammered for it now, like, because that's what you put yourself out there for it, like.
No, I'm not. No one was at me after Bayern Munich. No one was at me after.
No, that's it.
It's easy to at people after a goal or two. This is what Robbie does as well. It's easy to do that, and I don't mind. Cool. But if it was up to some people, 12 months ago, Eddie was getting the same support and backing. Now no one talks about Eddie. What happened? What happened to the Eddie fan club? But
I think someone said on here, didn't they, who was going to get 15 goals?
But more
I can't
importantly,
remember who that was, but I'm pretty sure someone said he was. He didn't tell me how many years he was going to get him in, but I think he did say something along those lines.
I was backing our player, Lee. I was backing our player.
These are opinions on football players and the way they're playing football.
Yeah.
Is there one Arsenal fan that is not absolutely delighted with the way the players are playing, every single one of them, and the results? Like, you think anyone who doubted certain players is sat there going, everyone's loving it. Everyone's like, yes. Thank you. You've been brilliant. Well done.
That's I said on Big Six. The humble pie I'm eating is delicious. I'll eat the humble pie all season long. please, more of it. More of it. I'll take as much as it's going.
Can I just flag 3 quick things? One, I would have just, in terms of a player, I thought Saliba would stand out on the weekend, and I want to just mention him because I think it's been quite a while since we've flagged Saliba individually. I think it's been a while since he's been the best defender of the 4. He's brilliant most weeks, right? But he's brilliant as well as Gabriel. He's brilliant as well as Ben White. Whereas I thought on Saturday, he was better than all 3 of them. He was the standout defender. So let's give him some love from the game. Second of all, to James's question, I think you're gonna ask, we haven't got time, but regarding Jesus, I still would sell him if an offer came in for him because the fitness issue and the lack of clinicalness, I don't think doesn't balance out for the great things that I think he does on the pitch. So if there's an offer came in for him, I would let him go. And then the third thing is just Declan Rice coming second in Player of the Year. Do we think that's probably about right? Are we cool with that?
Was that the PFA one?
It was the P.
No, the right.
No,
FWA.
writers. It was FWA.
FWA. Yeah, I mean, for me, Rice has been the best player in terms of the biggest impact, in terms of the multiple roles he's played. I think everything. He's been massive. Physically, on the ball, everything. He's been utterly superb. But Foden's been sublime too. And I actually think they should have waited to see who won the league. I know that they will do it at different times, but I actually think it might come down to that. Like, who won the title? Well, if Declan Rice came in with £100 million price tag and delivered the season he did and was massive in the big games and the head-to-heads, and it was enough to ultimately win us the title, how can you overlook him?
Just give it to Man City. Give it to anything Man City anyway, as well. I'm concerned. Just give it to them. I don't care.
Foden's been great. Don't get me wrong.
He has been great, but you know what I mean. Like, they've got 12 players playing for him every week.
Oh, here we go.
I just
Well,
think
I've got to mention it, like, you know what I mean?
they need to review the way it's done. Like years ago, I remember growing up, it was Ballon d'Or and FIFA World Player of the Year. Actually, FIFA World Player of the Year was the most prestigious it was the more prestigious of the two. Now there's only Ballon d'Or, and recently they've changed it to to announcing it after us. They changed it up in a way to make it better in terms of the period that they take into account. They got to do that with this. How is voting open in April the 1st for player of the season when there's still 2.5 months or
The biggest 2 months
left? Yeah,
the biggest 2 months left.
How?
In the matches.
The
At the end of the season is fucking. You got one job. You get paid a hell of a lot of money to write for these whoever's voting. End of the season, the day after, open a fucking poll on the website and fucking vote. What's all this
PFA
April
rules?
and-
I think you had to vote in February.
Yeah, some of them are.
What's
Yeah.
the point?
That is true. Like that was. I think they've put it back a little bit now. But years ago, the PFA, you know, so all the players vote. I think you had to have it in by 1 week in January or something like that. February. So there's still 4 months of the season to go.
I wonder what dictates it. I wonder if there's something more logistical as well that dictates when some of these different awards are. Because Postecoglou won the London Football Manager of the Year award. And to be fair to him, he was very gracious in winning it. He was like, I'm not really sure I deserve this, but thank you. The guy hasn't won a London derby. Now, I know that's not what it's based on. It's based on the Premier League and it's giving it to the... But you know, there's...
Yeah.
Well, to be worse than that, I think he's lost all his London derbies, hasn't he? I think West Ham have beaten them
drew 2 of them.
Twice.
Drew with us and drew with...
of course. Yeah. Sorry, we drew.
But he... Yeah. But that, I mean, I've got to say, and that's kind of why, even though he's Tottenham, I quite like him because he does have that sort of like... I don't know. He has got that awareness. But the guy's picked up 10 wins in 24 games since that amazing first 10 of the season. So...
Yeah, it's weird.
Speaking of awards, we didn't win that.
That's why they mean nothing.
Oh, we didn't. The one we were nominated for.
Well, we were nominated for, but we didn't win that.
Who won it?
I don't know, but we didn't win it.
I assumed we didn't win it when we did nothing and heard nothing and didn't speak about it.
Well, it was last week. It was only last week. It was, but yeah, just to let you know, we didn't win.
Were you there in a suit waiting to collect it and then
with a speech ready?
Yeah.
What was the awards, Jordan?
It was the Sports Industry Awards. I forgot what category we were in, but it's probably the biggest sporting awards shows of the year. Actually, it's massive. It's really big.
Is that where everyone went to recently? That I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is I? How you putting up? Where's my invite?
That's the one I said. That's the one I was like,
I forgot to go.
We were nominated.
We got a nomination and we didn't get invited.
But you know what? I don't know what's going on.
Okay, we didn't win it then. Like that, I mean.
Well, I bet
who won it? Man City podcast. Did they win it? Like, you know what I mean?
You know what? I don't actually know who won it, but I just know that we didn't.
Oh, that's actually a shame.
I can find out.
I'm more upset we didn't get an invite. That event looked quite good.
It was big. It's a big event, man. It's big.
They probably Man City won it, and
We need to get back in next year and actually look for tickets. I bet you they emailed us about it and it's just gone missing. But you know what?
Yeah.
We'll take that on.
Big up Sports Industry Awards, man.
yeah, love them.
Pick them up, man.
Congratulations to all the winners. Well
Go
done.
over there, tell them we sent you.
We're so pleased for you.
We'll be there next year.
Email them now. Tell them robbed. Just put that as a title. Robbed. Email them all now, people. All 1,000 of you that have
We'll
hit
be in the
like
broom
button.
cupboard. We
No,
will.
don't, because they'll do it. They'll actually start atting everyone on X or whatever. They'll be like, what? These guys didn't even show up. We gave them 10 free tickets, their own table. They were going to win it, but then we heard that for the last 4 months of the podcast, they didn't even know what they were nominated for. Drop them out.
Oh, mate. Cool. That's it on that.
We're not
And
in
I
it for
said
the
that's it on
accolades.
that. But yeah, a
I
whole
just want
week.
to say like, how good it was yesterday. Like, you know, it was ruined 4 or 5 hours later.
It wasn't ruined. Did anyone think Wolves was the day?
No, it was just the way it was. I expected Man City to win, and I expect them to win all their games, but not getting helping hands like that. For me, shocking. How that is a penalty in all of football, I'll never know. And for a referee to give it is absolutely scandalous. It's a shocking decision.
I don't want to go back into the refs though, but this is where opinion. I mean, I think that's more of a penalty than the Havertz one.
I think so too. Actually,
I get what you mean.
You can't just that penalty is more like the Rice one that happened that was against Tottenham, where you can't just fly in.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper attempting to win a ball and doesn't, whereas this one is Aït-Nouri just following a ball. It doesn't impede Gvardiol's ability to hit it, or maybe it does slightly. But
it smashes into him.
Yeah,
come on.
No, I hear it. But look, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really glad the Tottenham game's after Man United. And I know a lot of people will be like, yeah, but Tottenham could throw the game and they'll be out of whatever. Look, I don't think that will be the case. I just think until we've done our job at Old Trafford, which is going to be difficult despite the form they're in, it's if we get that win. If we get that, and then it's like, okay, 2 games for a slip up because we've got 1 home game left.
I still have this games.
Sorry?
They play Fulham before that game.
They do, and they could drop points there. I just have this feeling that we still need to do our job at Old Trafford. Like, even if they slipped up against Wolves, even if they slipped up against Fulham, there's immense pressure on that game at Old Trafford. And I think I've always just felt that they were always likely to win theirs, whereas the chance of us winning all of ours is difficult. But if we go and win there, then it'll be like, oh, we're all Tottenham fans for one night and one night only.
Do you watch the Tottenham game or not?
Sorry?
If they beat Fulham and we beat Man United, will you watch it on a Tuesday or not?
Yeah. Oh, more for me, but I will.
Yeah.
Sorry, what if we win all our games up to that Tottenham game?
I'm saying, what happens if Man City beat Fulham on the Saturday, didn't they? Right. We then go on the Sunday and beat Man United.
Yeah.
Right. Then do you watch that game, Tottenham versus Man City, on the Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. Of course I do.
Lee doesn't want to see it.
Well, I don't know if I will or not.
Why not?
No, I know people like that. They'd rather maybe check at half time and check at full time.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? I don't know.
Because
you don't want to get excited at half time.
Let's say you watch it. Let's say we put it on. Let's say we put it on 5 minutes in, Haaland 1-0. I always think to myself, if I didn't put this fucking match on, maybe they would have be 1-0 up now.
You know what I mean?
It's weird. It's
weird. I don't know. Just I like to throw that out there. Will you watch it or won't you? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if I will.
Yeah, I'm on this journey. Let's go. I'll be sat there quietly going, come on, Tottenham.
Listen, we're coming up to an hour and we haven't even touched in on United. I know it's quite a while away, but
no, we need to. We need to, Turkish. We need to.
Or should we do another little extra?
Yeah,
I think it's too early, guys.
Maybe.
We're more than a week till kickoff.
Yeah,
maybe,
let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We'll do a Fourever Arsenal bite size end of the week.
Yeah,
cool.
I like that bite size.
Yeah.
Actually enjoyed bite size threaded week more than the normal one.
We'll call it a bite size, though. It'll end up being like a normal hour as well, won't it?
Yeah.
Just be
2 hours.
You lot, Jordan every minute. Can I say 14 things? I just need to. Yeah, I got 13 positives and 1 negative. I just need to get it out there.
Wrong way round.
I just want to add on Alexander Hleb that.
You know what would make a great podcast? Jordan and Laurie. Who the fuck would who would cut someone off the most in that? Expected cutoffs per pod. That's what I want to know.
Expected cutoffs per pod. Laurie's worse than me. Come on, Laurie, don't leave it like that. Laurie's worse than me. I'm bad, but Laurie's worse than me.
We've got to have you, Robbie, and Laurie all on one. I'm telling you, it'll be crazy. We'll save Man United talk because I think James is right. I think let's get closer to the time. Let's let the buzz kind of build up a little bit because it is a massive game. Right now, I'm not really feeling it too much. I'm still happy we got the job done this weekend. On that note, job done this weekend. None of us got the correct score we all got 1 point because we all predicted an Arsenal win. Not that it matters much with 2 games to go. James has got a healthy 6-point lead. It'd have to.
Can anybody catch him, Turkish?
It'd have to be late twice, and
Yeah.
I'd have to get 2 correct scores.
Let's just give it to James now. Like he
He
won it at Bournemouth, at home to Bournemouth. James won it.
He won it on top points. That's what he won it on. Let's be honest. He won it on.
You're all going to start giving me fake times to try and get points boxed off. Right, tell him it's at 6 a.m. That's what happened. I'll just be.
But to come bottom every year and then to win, like, you know, Jordan, there's hope. You know what I mean?
Jordan, there's hope.
It's all about a good
that's a
transfer
Tottenham
window,
move.
Jordan. It's all about a philosophy, style of
Process.
style
You got
of
to trust the
prediction.
process. You know what I
Style
mean?
of prediction.
And it's just you're the man without a star now. Like, you know what I mean? That is it.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Next year I'm coming hard.
You're the Tottenham of the podcast.
I am. It's a bad day. It's a bad day.
Just for the audio listeners, James has got a 6-point lead. He's on 41 points, 5 correct scores. I'm second on 35. Leeds on 34, and Jordan's on 28. So yeah, it is pretty much done and dusted. But
I
the
just
star,
envisaged us all in 20 years' time with like
stars kind of
8 stars for Turkish, 7 stars for Lee. How many's left? That would be 5 for me, and Jordan just sat there.
Sorry.
But I came second a couple of years. I come second a couple of years.
Couple runners up.
you sound like a
Couple
Liverpool
silver
fan.
circles.
Cool. Let's get into it. And by into it, I mean comment of the day, because we are going to park Manchester United game off for later this week. I think you'll appreciate that. People hit the like button if you appreciate it. If you don't appreciate it, fucking hit the like button as well. Why not? We're back again next week. Next week. It is next week. So a double whammy this week on the Fourever Arsenal pod. I think it makes sense. We're in a tighter race, 2 games to go. So why not give every individual game the true attention it deserves? But comment of the day, are you not ready to go, or do you usually look for it during the predictions?
Can I
No.
start? Can
All
I
right.
start with a slightly more?
Obviously, something you do then to do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Nah, don't.
Unbelievable you are. You've just got no shame whatsoever. I really, absolutely believe there's just no
Look for
shame.
the one with the
in
most
you, like, you
likes.
know what I mean?
Well, somebody did say in the comments actually that they thought they caught me taking screenshots during the last episode of the pod, trying to look for comments. And I'll have you know that slander and defamation of character, I was not doing my homework during the podcast. I was just taking a picture of something else on a different website for something unrelated. So just, you know.
So during our podcast, you're taking screenshots for unrelated fucking. What are you doing over there?
I can multitask.
You got us up at 8 a.m. I want full focus.
I'm listening to James. I can take pictures. You know, I'm multitasking.
Someone actually said it goes. It's obvious that they're texting each other or something, like, you know what I mean, or through during the show, which is something we don't do.
Nah.
We don't do that, do we? Like, we don't put. I don't see nothing in the comments. We got a little private chat we can do. We never use that, do we? It's all off the cuff.
No, never use that.
I'll start just because this is more moany. It's not ending on a bit of a laugh. But DLJT95 says, spot on. Turkish online fans are now constantly trying to one-up rivals. For social media, we used to hold off our banter to the end of the season and have a couple digs here and there. Now it's daily. Big up you guys. Great pod as always. And I wanted to follow this up with this comment because I couldn't believe, and I addressed this in my fan cam, and I thought, did you guys see these articles about Ben White and the glove holding?
Nah.
So there are articles being written about whether what Ben White has been doing was cheating,
Shut up.
you know, with his sort of antics on goalkeepers. And then I just saw some of the sort of conversation that rival fans are having online. And it's just like, it's just quite interesting that last podcast we actually dedicated some time to talking about online football discourse. And then I think in the week following, it's been one of the worst it's been all season, just with some of the nonsense and conversation, the things that people give airtime and conversation to. And there are some people who are still having a pop at me for, you know, that draw at Man City. Like, we didn't lose against Aston Villa.
Oh, let it go, James. Let it go.
No, I'd like them to let it go. Like, and I just find it incredible that, like, X or Twitter or whatever is just full of so much like nonsense. Don't you think like we just don't you think more than ever it's about generating engagement? Because I'm like, there's no way people really, this is actually what they want to talk about. We've got this great sport that pulls up great conversations and great narratives. And this is what people online are talking about. I'm not trying to open that kind of worms again, but I just thought in the wake of us talking about it, and that's what that comment, I thought, no, and I talked about my fan cam. It's just, I don't know, continues to wind me up. And I just think it's getting worse coming from people whose clubs are out of all these racism conversations. But I don't know. Yeah.
It's a more societal problem, and
Ben White, love him.
And I mean, I
just don't care.
Right? Yeah, I think, you know, I mean, like,
I care. Like we want, you know, we want the conversation around football to be good.
No, sorry, James. I mean, I don't care about what Ben White's doing, and I say that from, if that was another player, let's say it wasn't an Arsenal player doing it, I wouldn't care either.
No, it's not glad doing it. I care.
Yeah, just get on with it. If you can get away with it.
I thought it was fantastic. I've never known it before. All the years I've been playing football, to go and try and take the person's glove off. I think it's. I think it deserves an award for it. I think he's player of the year for it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, how can people have a problem writing art? Like, let me just stick to this space, because I can't talk to people that would say that's a foul or write articles about that. I just have to say shut up and keep it moving.
You say stick to this space, but it's in this. That's kind of why I bring it up, because online fans as well that are, I don't know, rattled by it. And I just find it incredible, all the things that can be talked about. This is one of them. Extraordinary.
Yeah, well, societal. That's how I look at it. Things have changed over the last 20 years, and part of that change has brought in people that think trying to take off a keeper's glove is a foul or an atrocity that deserves an article after. Melts, but we move. Comments of the day. Well, James has done his.
I've got a couple back to back here that I thought were really good. Fitzgram 350. Beautiful assist from Kaka to Ronaldinho. We are going places.
Very good.
A chuckle. And the one after that, Jordan's partner / girlfriend came in to pass him her notes of the game she watched fully, not highlights. Jordan is such a blessed soul. There were so many actually, and because I've lost the league and I've come bottom, I didn't do any homework. I just don't give a shit anymore. But there were lots of really, really good comments actually that I will scroll through as Lee gives us his one.
Yeah, I've gone for one for myself because I've got a bad internet, top tier delivery. Like, I didn't even realise that I'd done that, but yeah. So, but I thought the comment. I really enjoy it, going through all the comments and seeing all. It's part of
the comment. You got bad internet.
Yeah.
I'm fucking docking you 5 points.
I thought it was quite clever, like. I mean, there was a few. Another one I got bad internet was honestly genius from Lee. Had me in tears. There you go.
I've got a comment. Lee's got shit internet.
That is poorly. That is poor.
At least they said Invincible podcast. We need fucking better than that next week.
That is poor.
The word genius and Lee in the same sentence, I'm putting it in there. Up yours, you lot, like.
Nah.
How dare you, like, I get slagged off a lot on here because I can't get any words and players out. But like when I see genius and delivery and top tier, I'm going to be putting my name to it. Thank you very much.
God. They're all on the beach, aren't they?
Say that again, James.
They're all on the beach. Season's nearly over.
I love
They're all on the beach. They're giving up.
It's a good half hour, like going through the comments. It's really good. I really enjoy it.
So you stop fucking lying about half an hour to come out with nah. I'm gonna dock 10 points. You might be last in this league by the time we're done. Stop.
I'll waste it. Got another one here if you want it.
That's pretty badly. That is pretty bad. Come on.
So you let the people know.
Lee speaking facts, genius. There you go. We need more. We need more.
There you go, people. If you want your comment read out, start it with Lee is a genius.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll read that next week. He spends half an hour.
Another one here, plenty of space here, Turkish. I don't know what that one is.
Let me go and get the comments that I did spend a bit of time to look at.
Come on in.
Good on you.
Ricky says, what makes Forever Arsenal unique and the best is how it always ends on a positive note with comments of the day, creating a fun and beautiful fusion between the panel and the viewers. It's further high after positive results and a perfect and needed closure after bad results for us. Keep it up, guys. And another one from Real JM saying, I love this lot together so much. Turkish, my guy, but quote, I'll say it now. There ain't no one that does it better than the judge. What a character. Hilarious every show. If you spent half an hour to look for a comment about you, this one here was better than all of the comments you just read out about you. What's a character? There ain't no one that does it better than the judge. And you picked out. What did you pick out? You picked.
My internet's crap.
Yeah. Do you know what? I must have missed that one.
Maybe spend 35 minutes on it, Lee. Maybe you'll find it.
Wow, there were so many comments. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I only just realised that this is true, right? Because someone told me that you can press a button that says newest comments.
Oh wow! End the stream, Turkish. End the stream, Turkish.
Hey, on that note, people, love for the love. Hit the like button, and we'll be back later this week for Man United. Peace. We're out.